Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. We had Deku. We also had the Joker. Deku, he followed a long string of leads. He got the help of Lady Shiva and Poison Ivy. These two, they had leads that connected to each other. And whenever Deku he found a few other pieces with certain methods, he found the Joker's location. He had a time and a day, and that was it. Joker has something part of his routine every single day. If he's not there, he always makes time to visit it at least sometime in the day. And that's the thing. Joker has a routine, which is odd. And Deku, he met the man as a civilian, and Joker seemed different. He seemed less crazy. He was in disguise, and Deku beat that disguise off of him. Deku beat the Joker after stabbing him in the chest and eye. He beat him to unconsciousness, and then kidnapped him. And people saw that. This guy was beating on a regular at the restaurant, but that regular turned out to have, well, pasty white skin and green hair. So what does that tell you? That was the Clown Prince of Crime. And that lady serves that man breakfast at least 6 times a week. So, that told her quite a bit about the man. Now, Deku currently is on a date with Barbara Gordon. And him and Barbara, they do share a lot in common. More than they both realize. And Barbara, yeah. She knows Deku as Jason Todd. And Deku, he knows a lot about Barbara Gordon, as he currently does sit there looking at Barbara. And she does comment on it. This place looks a bit fancy. Her currently going to somewhat lean back in her chair, expressing. She feels sort of bad for him bringing her here. I mean, this place just looks so fancy, extravagant. It looks expensive. I doubt I could afford it on my salary regularly. Hmm? What do you mean? Oh, sorry. I I sort of I work as the Gotham head of library. Or no, wait. Sorry. Just sort of. Are you okay, Barbara? Yeah, yeah. I I don't know. It's sort of complicated with my ex. Oh, you and your ex. Did you two break up recently? No, no. It's just sort of strange dating again, especially after all that we've been through. Yeah. If things are complicated between you and him, I can sort of understand. If things with my ex are complicated. You have an ex. Calling her an ex is very generous. See, she's just very crazy, I guess. She was a lot of crazy. How so? That's a bit hard to clarify, I guess, but getting my life back on track, it was difficult and challenging. She helped me, but she also encouraged me. I don't really follow. She tried to point me down the wrong direction. I knew what I had to do, but I didn't want to do it. I had a one-track mind at the time. She fed the fire on that, and it was bad. When I got back on track, got back in the right headspace, I sort of had to leave. I don't know. Were things serious with her? Define serious. Did you two ever seriously date, or Well, I don't want to put it crudely, but hook up, I guess. Yeah, um, that sorta is very crude, I guess. Honestly, I know we tend to relieve stress in similar ways, I guess. We've gone out for drinks before, and oftentimes we just sort of lose track of time. I'm not sure. Saying that for sure, it's hard, because I may not have even remembered it, but yeah, I think we may have. Oh, well, did you guys end off good? No. Sorry to hear about that. It's a bit more complicated with Grayson, though. His name's Grayson? No, no. His name is Richard. Okay, so were things complicated with him? How? Um, I guess just work. He got too busy. I got put in a wheelchair, and we just sort of drifted a bit, but we thought we could make things work and we didn't. So we still talk from time to time. He was there whenever I went through. Okay, I can understand. You can? Yeah. Unlike my ex, yours isn't a toxic element. So, I get it. Don't worry about it. Oh, I sort of thought that you would react different to that. Why? Everyone has troubles, struggles. They might not be the right person for you, but they might be the right friend for you. That's very. Very what? It's sort of interesting to think about. Thanks. Deku actually somewhat going to look down at his glass. Him going to take a sip of wine. And there is where he does get someone to look down at his phone. And Barbara does try to ask him if everything's okay. Deku going to open it up and scroll through a few things. Before he does get someone turn his head and tell Barbara, everything's fine. It's just he sort of forgot to turn his phone off. Is it your work? No, no, it's nothing I can't ignore. I'll put it off for later. For right now, though, Deku putting the phone back in his pocket, telling Barbara, how about they just enjoy the night? How about they just talk a bit? I mean, tonight's a good night. If she's willing to say something, start a conversation, maybe, they can do that. Now, Barbara just won't like that, and the two just won't talk. Barbara, she wanted to learn a bit more about him, and then there's Deku. With him, he's straight laced, he understands a few things. Clearly, he's at a point in his mind where he's learned enough about psychology to comfortably diagnose himself. But he also tries to apply that same logic to others. Or does he try and apply the same logic to others as he does himself? Because he'd be biased against himself. Huh. This guy makes her think. I mean, but he's just so strange. Now, Barbara does lose track of time. And with the fact that the two, they are somewhat having a bit to drink, Deku, he does cut himself off a little early. But Barbara, she still does somewhat get to drink her wine. While Deku nurses his, she's knocking some back. And Barbara, yeah. By the time the two do get to stand up, there is where Barbara, she does have a bit of trouble keeping steady. And whenever she does almost fall over, Deku would gonna actually grab out for her and hold her up. Hamile's going to tell her he'll get her back to the car, and he'll take her home. And Barbara, yeah. She and Deku, they left after he paid the bill. Them getting back in the car and driving back to her place. And Barbara, yeah. She definitely wasn't, let's just say, cohesive. She was drunk. He knew that for sure. 6 glasses of wine. 7? he did go to the bathroom, and that bottle looked a little bit more empty than whenever he stood up. Hmm. Okay. Maybe it was 7. Oh god, no, wait. How much did she drink? Deku actually a little bit more concerned. And there is where he does go to someone lean down and ask Barbara if she's awake. Her someone gonna turn to him and at least try to express. She had a very fun night. I can see that. Hey, do you think you'll be able to get up to your apartment on your own? I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I just need a bit of help standing up. Now, Deku does help Barbara get to her feet. And whenever she does almost fall over, Deku, he does just go to grab onto her. Him just going to pick her up, and he does go to hear her cane hit the ground. Him going to bring his foot up and go to close the car door. Barbara a bit more surprised. And Deku just tried to tell her, okay, he'll carry her inside and she'll point out where she lives. And Deku, yeah. He already knows that Batman, he owns this whole building. This place is supposed to be the public library. And it is a building very heavily fortified. Not many people know, but a room was renovated here. And it is a living space for Barbara Gordon. And Deku, yeah. Whenever him and Barbara do get up to the security floor, or, well, her floor, she does go to put in her code. And she does go to press onto an extra button, and Deku will go to notice that. As Barbara, she disabled quite a lot of the defenses to her place. And Deku currently does go to walk in. Him carrying Barbara, as he does go to set her somewhat down onto the couch. Him asking her if she does need something, as he does go to start making his way towards the door. And Barbara, yeah. She's just happy to be here. And Deku does make sure to go back outside to grab her cane. Now, Barbara, she does somewhat try to study herself out. Trying to remember how she met this guy only a few weeks ago. Damn it. But he's so... Shit. Okay, she's definitely drunk. She's not thinking clearly. Deku walking back inside and going to put the cane over by where she's sitting. I'm expressing to her, alright, he's gonna get her a glass of water and then he's gonna go. Will she be okay? Barbara, her actually somewhat turning back to him, before telling him about how she'll be fine. But before he, before, before he, her is someone gonna fall over and lay down on the couch. And Deku he does someone gonna walk over. Him bringing his hand down and feeling her pulse. Steady. Or, no, yeah, steady. Him going to stand back up, walking to the kitchen and trying to look around. He's trying to look for anything. Microphones. Any place that you would hide something. Making it obvious would be, well, obvious. Hiding it, though, out of plain sight. Places you wouldn't expect. Deku looking up to down, and the place doesn't appear to have any form of security, other than what does protect the room. No cameras or microphones. And Deku, he's happy about that, as he's going to walk over towards Barbara Gordon's computer. Him actually going to see it sitting on her desk. Him going to bring his hand down into his jacket and pull out a USB, as he will go to upload something into her computer. Now, Deku he will go to leave afterwards, and he does someone go to leave a note for Barbara as he does go to walk out the door. And there is where he does go to walk outside. Him going to make sure that the door is closed and locked, as there is where he does going to hear a voice. So, him turning and seeing someone who does go to walk out from behind the side of the building. Question, then leaning over the railing. Heart, place, or pants? Hi, Talia. What? Are you trying to get into her heart, her place, or her pants? I'm still trying to figure out which one. You were stalking me. Of course I was. We keep tabs on you, Izuku. You found the clown. I did. Why isn't he dead? Call it therapy reasons. Sure. So, you found Barbara Gordon. And what did you do with her? Nothing. She's a good asset for me to have. I leave my options open, and I'm prepared. That's one thing Batman taught me that I haven't forgotten. Really? Well, I am definitely intrigued to hear about that. Well, I'm happy to see you. Why are you in town, Talia? Can I just come by for a visit? I mean, I thought it would be so fun to see you again. Are you gonna go out? Go on patrol or go home and torture a clown? Hmm? Honestly, Talia, Dickies went staring back at her, with the eyes of a killer, with the eyes of the Red Hood. She can see it on his face. There is that hidden level of crazy he likes to try to repress. There it is, right there on his face. All the anger, the madness. She just won't see it. And Deku might not want to admit it to himself, but he does almost have a smile on that face of his. It's just the eyes. They're filled with wild abandonment. And Talia? Yeah. She's going to tell him. Her going to turn and walk directly over to a bike. Her going to climb on and turn back to him. That she's in town for a few specialized reasons. If he wants to go talk to somebody, then talk to them. He can figure it all out. But if he does want to get information out of her, he's going to have to give her what she wants. Her's not going to wink at Deku. And Deku just stare at Talia. The League of Assassins are operating back in Gotham. But why is that? No, no. The Court of Owls. They haven't done something in a second, but... Their talent. Their talents? Yeah, maybe. They might be up to something. The Talons may be a problem, but they're not his problem. That's on Batman. And Deku, whenever Talia does go to leave, he does get to head back to his place. And Deku, yeah. He decides that tonight he's going to make sure the Joker really can't go anywhere. What he'll do is quite simple. Call it therapy. He decides to break the bones in the Joker's feet, his ankles, his lower legs, his upper legs, and then the legs or the bones in his thighs. Deku decides to break his fingers, one by one. He decides to rip out nails. He decides to hammer the Joker in place. He decides to break his wrist and break his arms. And by the time Joker, he is left sitting there, Deku, he's panting heavily. And the Joker just won't sit there with his jaw still knocked out of place because he just kept fucking laughing. And Deku, he sat there with blood all over his hands and a hammer in his hand, and he was thinking about what to do. Definitely, definitely therapeutic. That being on Deku's mind, as he goes to walk into the next room and go to wash his hands. And Joker, he does go to turn his head and look over towards Deku. Him trying to think about what to do. He needs to do quite a few things. Get a few things done. He needs to have his plans enacted. He wanted to mess with the dear old Batman. But then again, he might not be the one who gets up to that. And that's the problem. He wants to have fun. He wants to be the one to break the bats. If not physically, like the big, muscle, roided out brute that Bane is. Mentally. I mean, Nigma's riddles. They never really did much. They never did him good. But Enigma, what will he do? What will he do? What are his plans? What riddle will he give this time? The Joker never really found it very funny. The point of a riddle was to solve it. It was to occupy your mind. He always preferred jokes. I mean, straightforward. They just make you laugh. It's simple. It's not so convoluted. And that's why he doesn't understand Edward Nigma. Now then, the Joker, yeah. He wants to get free. And Deku, he currently does go to send off a tape. Or, well, two. One addressed to Barbara Gordon, and the other addressed to Wayne Manor. Now then, Batman, he does get this information, and he actually is somewhat impressed and surprised to see this happen. Red Hood finally got the Joker, and Joker, at some point he stopped laughing, but that was just because he was made to stop laughing. And Barbara, yeah. Whenever this information came to her doorstep, it was definitely confusing. She just remembers waking up with a hangover and a note from Jason. Oh God, she didn't puke in his car, did she? She didn't. She didn't say anything bad, did she? Oh God, she only meant to. That was strong wine. She feels so stupid. Should should she message him after the date? See if it went well? Uh, no, no, no. Okay, okay, calm down. Now, Barbara, she eventually found Deku's note, and Deku, he tried to express to her, as there was a dry stain of water around it, that he wants her to know last night was fun. Text him to make sure that she's okay. I mean, she definitely nearly puked. Now, Barbara does try to think about the night before, and there is where somebody, they come knocking on her door. Her going to stand up and walk over to answer it. And there actually is where Tim, he does stand outside. Him about to inform Barbara about what's going on. Him holding up the tape that was addressed to her front door. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.